Hi guys, and welcome to this week's video update. This week was Color Week, and it was sort of an odd theme, but I had a really good time with it. I'm actually not going to talk about color, though, in this video update because I'm going to talk about what I will be talking about all of next week, which is going to be Vendors Week. A lot of you know that I have been working on figuring out a way to integrate vendors and advertising and all of that business kind of stuff into the blog without letting it be what the blog is all about. I really like that the blog sort of this non-commercial, non-biased place where people can come and find what they need and then leave. That being said, I have wanted to figure out how to let advertisers connect with people in the community and how to encourage new vendors and really sort of open the playing field up a little bit. I think that there's a lot of great vendors that serve both the Orlando and the Anaheim area. But I think that if you run in the Disney wedding circles, it's easy to just stick to the 4 or 5 or 6 that get mentioned all the time, when in reality there's a ton of great vendors out there. But there might be vendors that are providing services that you don't even know exist, and they might be for things that you would really want to have in your wedding if you knew about them. So with that in mind, I decided that instead of having straight up vendors pay me and then I put their ads right next to the posts, I'm going to have a directory of sorts that is going to be updated every single year, and I'm going to have vendors. They're going to be called featured vendors, and these vendors are going to actually pay me an annual fee to be listed on the blog. So these are going to be vendors who are actively interested in serving Disney brides and grooms and getting involved in the Disney wedding community. Then I'm going to list their contact information and list them so that if you wanted to see photographers, they'll all be there. If you wanted to see florists, they'll all be there. I admit that I was kind of nervous originally when I was thinking, why would I want to charge just to list information? If I'm trying to be helpful to everybody, wouldn't it make sense just to list that kind of stuff for free? But I like the idea of having it be like, I don't know, kind of a privilege that they get to be on the blog, because by doing it this way, I actually can open up the field to everybody who's interested, and they can sort of apply to be in the directory. And then there might be some vendors that, I'll be honest, not all vendors are equal, and there are vendors that I've heard lots of horror stories about. You just kind of get the sense that maybe they're not providing quality service. And the nice thing about this is that I have the discretion now to say, vendors, I'd love to see you apply and whatnot, but at the same time, I'm going to be able to put my foot down and say, you know what, I'm not going to give you the opportunity to be listed, and sorry, even though you're trying to pay me, I don't want to include you in this group. And in that way, that probably sounds worse than I want it to, but I just feel like that's a good way for me to be able to keep the integrity of the site without feeling like I'm selling out and just letting people buy the advertising space, if you want to call it that, even though I feel like they might be providing bad service to Disney brides and grooms. So I wanted to sort of keep you guys in the loop and explain what I'll be doing, because I don't want you also to be thinking, I know that people pay to be in this directory, so how honest is this directory? Everybody that's in the directory, I'm going to look over and take into consideration things that I've heard about them. So I think in that way, I'll be able to really make sure that not only are these people who are actively interested, but these are going to be people who I am actively interested in seeing get business, because I feel like they're doing a good job and they'll be making couples happy. So I'm going to be doing that. Vendors, not even just the featured vendors, but all vendors are going to have the opportunity to pay a small amount to get their spotlights in. I get so many requests from vendors to spotlight either their business or an event that they've covered or some sort of artistic thing that they've done. And this is all vendors. It's not just the photographers, which is what I know what you guys are most familiar with. But I get requests from all over about vendors who want people to know about this or that service. And the thing is, it's not even that I look at most of the requests and go, oh, no, I don't want to cover that. It's really just that trying not to overwhelm people, I really only have a certain number of posts that I can do every day. And if I post too often, it's almost like things are going to get lost in the noise, and I don't like that. So in this way, if somebody's really, really interested in having me spotlight them, and they're really committed enough to be willing to pay basically a nominal amount, but to actually go through the motions of saying, no, I think this is this important. I think that that's going to narrow down the pool and let me consider those spotlights with a little more weight. So I will be offering that. And the third thing, besides the paid spotlights and the featured vendors, the third thing that I'm going to be starting is I will have some advertisements on the sidebars like you see on other blogs, where you've got the post in the middle and then maybe some information over here, and then you have ads and whatnot over there. Now, the thing about the sidebar advertisements is that at the moment, I'm only going to be offering those to Etsy sellers and shops. It's not that I don't think that the vendors who want to be on the sidebar should get that opportunity, but for right now, I'm really still interested in promoting people on Etsy, especially because so many of them seem to be really small businesses, perhaps one-man shows, who are working out of their basements and really working hard to take some creative energy and turn it into something beautiful for people's weddings. And I love that so much that that's part of the reason that I really try to stick with Etsy with the giveaways. And I think initially, as we all get used to seeing sidebar advertisements on the blog, I'm only going to be offering that space to Etsy sellers because I do want to encourage them. So there's going to be the opportunity for Etsy sellers to purchase that space at a really low price. So to recap, featured vendors will be paying me to be in the directory, and I will be screening them to make sure that they are high quality and that they're somebody that I would feel comfortable recommending to a friend. All vendors will have the opportunity to pay me a small fee if they want me to consider spotlighting an event that they've covered or their business or something like that. And if I decide not to make somebody a featured vendor or not to spotlight their thing, obviously everybody's going to get a refund. But when I do paid spotlights, and I will say that this is a paid spotlight, that's what that will mean. That will mean that they paid me a small amount. And then the third thing is going to be that there will be some sidebar ads on the blog starting probably next week, and those will only be Etsy sellers that I like. And those spots are pretty much all filled up. So it would be a complete lie to say that I'm not interested in the money. But the good thing is, at the moment, I'm really interested in gathering the money because Kyle and I are doing that event for Huntsman Cancer Institute. And for this year only, all of these vendors and Etsy sellers will have the opportunity to either pay me the money or to take the money that would be, to take the same amount that would be normally paid to me. And if they donate it to Huntsman Cancer, then I will give that money to Huntsman Cancer and I will put them on the list for the year. So I'm hoping that encourages people to become involved, to become featured vendors, and to do spotlights. And I'm also really hoping that that's a good way to sort of raise awareness for Huntsman Cancer and to help us as we go along on our mission to raise $5,000 for them by next January. So because of that, that's sort of, I'm more comfortable with the idea of doing something commercial because it's going to be benefiting the Cancer Institute than I think I would be because, Mama needs a new pair of shoes. So I hope you guys are comfortable with that. If you're not, I really do hope that you'll be honest with me because this is new territory for everyone. So so I guess we're just going to be figuring it out. But I will be spending the next week showcasing vendors, talking about vendors that you may not have heard of. Lots of national vendors and cute little crafty type vendors that aren't getting a whole lot of press. And I will also hopefully be introducing you to vendors that are available for Orlando and Anaheim weddings as they start coming in. And there will even be a couple posts tossed in there that are for vendors who are checking the blog and tuning in to find out what Disney wedding planning couples are interested in. I am going to have some stuff for you guys as well. So I hope that you guys are excited about that, and I'm excited about it. It's been kind of a lot of work, but I really feel like I'm getting to a good place, and I'm happy about it. And I would normally say that the song of the week is blah, 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 but YouTube is just killing me with everything that I'm trying to upload to share songs. So at the moment, I am going to stop saying there's going to be a song of the week just for now. And I'll just go tell you to log on and watch Glee on demand on Fox.com because the cast of Glee is really just covering music much better than I could these days. So that's it. Stay tuned for vendors and go watch Glee, and I will talk to you next week.